we wonder out loud why God seems to be the hide-and-seek world champion. Yahweh is a main character in the Old Testament or Torah. He's out in the field, kicking butt, taking names, while he's even finding the time to personally rename people. Though, he seems to have slowly disappeared from action in recent years. So, won't you join James W., Amy Newman, and the other misfits as we search for a deity who's supposedly everywhere?
Early retirement.
Exactly. Why doesn't God show up? All powerful, all knowing, and all seeing, but also super shy. Doesn't want anyone to see him with his full face on. I can relate. But after a little while, you start to wonder if you're getting catfished. With all those wonderful powers, you'd think he could poof and shake everyone's hand at once. But he's coy, wants to play hard to get. And I only say he because apparently in the Judeo-Christian mythos, this deity has a large package. Not sure why someone needs genitals in heaven, but logistics have never been religion's strong suit. Instead, we get answers back like, who are we to challenge God? Or, who are we to ask for such a request? A no one, but a no one who is a conscious agent. So if they want a personal relationship, they're going to have to try harder than a book written thousands of years ago before we knew genetics. StreamYard, Zoom, Skype. I mean, do we have to set up a MySpace account? If he doesn't want to go digital, then I don't understand why a Rome Damascus experience was okay for Paul, but not for the rest of us. If we're going to burn forever because of insufficient evidence, then so be it. Though that depends on what God we're talking about, or more likely, which theist we're talking to. So as much fun as these mind games are, I'm gonna have to pass. If this deity wants to have a real one-on-one relationship, then my suggestion is Match.com. I cannot put a holy text into the lab. And if we can, then I have yet to be shown how to falsify any of the numerous claims the various religions make. Until that time, we'll be waiting patiently and with a margarita. All right, everyone. Don't forget to not only like and subscribe, but hit that all bell, though the all ball icon would work too. Yeah, baby. So you can get live reminders. If you'd like to contribute and be part of the awesomeness, feel free to find the Skeptic and Ranting Patreon at patreon.com/Amy Newman, or in the chat when we hand it over to the open mic portion of the show. Okay, James, are you ready to play hide and seek with a god?
Well, yeah, not just one god, actually. Hide and go seek with all the gods. But, you know, as we usually do, we are going to spend most of our time talking about the Judeo-Christian God, our lovable yet hidden friend Yahweh, who he's been a main character so far in the book that we just got done with our Skeptic Bible study. Still so excited that we first got through with Genesis just the other day. And we're going to be very shortly marching right into Exodus. So it's not going to take us like 1,000 years. We're going to go into Exodus very shortly. And so Yahweh, he's been, kind of paratrooping in and out. He poofs in when he wants to do something, and then he poofs out like a ninja. He kind of doesn't do much for a while, and then when he wants to kill somebody or rename somebody or, wrestle with somebody, he'll show up and do that, and then he'll kind of poof out. I don't know what he's doing when he's gone, but whatever it is, it must be pretty important, right? Being that whatever he's doing, he was doing that for eternity before he decided to, create anything. So he's probably busy doing that. Hey, Bible burner. And so he's a main character so far, but I'm guessing that's going to continue for a couple books. And then we're going to start to see him slowly fade into early retirement until we get to where we are now, where, we're told that he conceals himself so well that it's literally impossible to detect anything that he does in any way, unless he supernaturally reveals himself to somebody, maybe through dreams or visions or whatnot, but nothing science could detect, nothing that you could ever find in a lab. You could never see him. He was at one point triggered by a tower in Genesis that was really tall, and he thought that people were going to be able to get up there and, watch him on the John or whatnot. But, now that we've been up into the clouds, we've been to outer space, we've been to the moon, we've sent probes out of the solar system, and so far, no sign of Yahweh yet. I mean, we've looked, I think, 14 billion light years away, and still nothing yet, but who knows? Donald Kronos has been running 2 or 3 streams a day for going on a week now, asking God to show up, and as of yet, I don't believe he has shown up to any of his streams. Any word on that, Amy? Nothing?
No, it seems like we could run as I feel like many streams, but it seems like Yahweh is playing hide and seek. I mean, it's a fun game every once in a while. I feel like if he wants a personal relationship, he's gotta come out of hiding. Say hi.
He's gotta put his hand under your thigh, like Joseph did with his father. Yeah, because we just got done hearing that incest is not a problem back then.
He doesn't say specifically. It's like the Bible has asterisks every once in a while, and they're like, okay, there's about to be incest, but it's okay.
Back then, it was okay because you believe we came from rocks, so therefore incest is not
exactly rock soup.
And no, go ahead, Amy.
Speaking of saying hi, just want to say hi to everyone in chat and out there watching. Hey Robert, hey Donald, hey Brainbug and Aunt Jer. Hello Bible Burner. Woohoo! Hello Awesome Internet, sending out love. So what we're gonna do is just play a short video that I found that I think will give us maybe an academic perspective on this question, and then we'll open it up fairly quickly to open mic if anyone would like.
After that, I will put my Christian hat on, my apologist hat on. I'll pretend like I'm John from Tennessee or whatever, and give my explanation of what they would say as far as divine hiddenness goes, and it's gonna be a doozy. Oh. I can't blame you there, Aunt Jer.
Yeah, and I can't. I'm right with you. Yahweh doesn't seem like a good boyfriend. He doesn't seem like he's father material either. So,
that's true. I mean, what with he'd probably be walking around with a can of gasoline, just dousing people with gasoline and lighting them on fire every time something bad happened. Yeah. So.
Oh, everyone, clench as hard as you can. Titan, your anus is here. Woohoo!
Have we seen who's that guy at the cross or Zoe? Has Zoe been in?
Zoe, I don't know. We'll see if Zoe is around. He's
one
amazing.
Of our favorite Christians trying to normalize Christianity.
Indeed. And
Fighting the good fight.
I really enjoy the Ash Ketchum Gary Oak relationship going on there.
Hey,
but yes,
we're on a battlefield. He's trying to
on a
normalize
battlefield.
Christianity. We're trying to normalize reality. So there it goes.
Exactly. And if you guys can't hear this video, tell me.
And you're
but
probably not missing much, but you probably still want to try to listen.
But I figure this is a good. I probably should have found maybe a rebuttal to the Divine Hidden Arguments, because I think this guy basically agrees with us. But instead of just listening to two schmucks, why not let's get a good academic basis and then multiple schmucks. We'll talk about it. It'll be great.
Yeah, a committee of schmucks.
A committee of schmucks, just like the people who wrote the Bible. Okay.
Answers in Genesis.
Hi, Kitty. I agree with what they were saying.
He's chiming in. He's not impressed yet.
It was a valid point. I just want to say.
Yes.
There are several versions of the hiddenness argument by now, and no doubt there'll be more in the future. But I'll focus on the original hiddenness argument, one that I put together when I was at Oxford some 25 years ago. It's probably more than 25 years ago now. And to introduce this argument, I think it'd be good to think about three scenarios. So here's the first scenario. It's one in which God exists and there are no non-believers. That is, God exists and perhaps there are other people too, other persons God has created, finite persons. And if there are, all of them believe that God exists. So that's the first scenario. In that scenario, there's nothing like the hiddenness that's relevant to the hiddenness argument that I want to talk about. The second scenario is one in which God exists, and not everybody is a believer. There are some people who believe, some people who don't believe, but all of those don't believe, fail to believe because they're resisting God in some way. Their relationship with God not on the agenda for them, and they have deceived themselves as to the existence of God. Now they're doubters or disbelievers because of that self-deception. And so all of the non-belief in the world in the second scenario is resistant non-belief. Okay. In that scenario too, there's nothing like the hiddenness that's relevant to the hiddenness argument, because even though God is in a sense hidden from people, it's those people who have hidden God from themselves. It's not as though God has done something intentionally to produce this situation of hiddenness. And now the third scenario is one in which God exists, and some people believe in God, some people don't believe in God, with the added wrinkle now that of those who don't believe in God, some are resistant, but some are not. Some who fail to believe in God are in that condition because they've had a good hard look at the evidence, and it's the evidence that causes their non-belief. It's not any kind of resistance to God or to relationship with God that causes their non-belief. And so we would call them non-resistant non-believers. So in that world, there are both resistant non-believers and non-resistant non-believers. And now you can take the central claim of the argument as saying something like this, that the first two scenarios are possible if God exists, and the third is impossible. Okay? Could be that everybody believes, or that if some don't believe, and they're in that condition resistantly, that's okay. But if God exists, there will not be any non-resistant non-believers. Okay? So you can take that as the first premise of the core argument, the core of the hiddenness argument. The hiddenness argument, put most simply, we have two premises and a conclusion. That would be the first premise of that core argument. So if God exists, there are no non-resistant non-believers. The second premise, perhaps obviously, is going to be, yeah, there are non-resistant non-believers, from which the conclusion follows there's no God. Okay, so that's the core hiddenness argument. But now, of course, you're going to want to have some extra premises to support that first premise. Why should we say that if God exists, there won't be any non-resistant non-believers? Well, there's some other thoughts about the hiddenness, about God, more generally, the nature of God, that come into play at this stage. The first premise, first subsidiary premise, if God exists, God is perfectly loving. Okay, we're talking about a personal ultimate, the greatest possible personal being. And this sort of a being we would expect, among other things, to be perfectly loving. So suppose we accept that. If God exists, God is perfectly loving. Next premise, and it's sort of going to go in a chain here, If God exists, God is perfectly loving. If God is perfectly loving, then God is always open to personal relationship, a conscious reciprocal relationship with finite persons. And the third premise, if God is thus open, is open to personal relationship with finite persons, then if anybody fails to believe in God, it's resistantly. It's not going to be non-resistantly. And why is that? Well, that's really the nub, the heart of the matter, the connection between openness and the absence of non-resistant non-belief. If God is open, in the sense in which I intend, it's a very minimal sense. All I mean is that God isn't closed to this sort of relationship. It's never going to be the case that God does something to prevent people from being able to enter into personal relationship with God, participating in relationship with God. So they might still not participate in relationship with God, but if so, it's going to be because of what they've done, not because of anything God's done. So that's what's meant by openness. And now think about what's required to be able to participate in a relationship with God just by trying to. And notice when I say just by trying to, it makes it sound as though it might be easy to do this, but it could very well be hard. It could be that, you can, just by trying in the right way, enter into relationship with God, but it might not be pleasant, might not be easy, okay? But that's what I mean when I'm talking about being in a position of the sort that if God is open to relationship, God will put people in, okay, that position. Now, to be in that position, you have to believe that God exists. It's a very simple idea, really, to be able to relate personally in this way, to be in a conscious reciprocal relationship with somebody else, doesn't matter who it is. You have to believe that they exist. And so God would, if God is thus open, make it possible for people to believe that God exists. And again, it could be that they fail to believe, but if so, it's only going to be if they have arrived at that state themselves through resisting relationship with God in some way. So that's why you get to that main premise of the core argument: if God exists, there are no non-resistant non-believers. All right, so that's the core argument, 2 premises and a conclusion. A number of other premises can be brought into play which jointly entail that first premise. So that's the hiddenness argument. Those are some of the most important premises.
Mute.
And okay, so I'm actually gonna reshare it for just a second because I just want to look at his thing. I found it interesting. What this seems to be is an argument against the God. It seems to be an actual argument from Divine Hiddenness. They're trying to do atheism in the positive position, or I guess the strong.
Right. He's trying to say if God is loving, then there wouldn't be anybody who doesn't want to have a relationship with him just because they don't believe he exists. You could believe he exists and still not want a relationship with him. We say that all the time, that you would just want to know if he's real. Doesn't necessarily mean you'd worship him, but at least you wouldn't deny that he's real.
Yeah, I mean, my big thing is that, well, it's actually 2 big things. First of all, the all-powerful, the all-knowing, the all-seeing, all that stuff, I am slowly learning is not biblical. That these seem to be philosophical notions that they created to defend a sort of deism, just to get people onto their side. Yeah, because if Yahweh was the sort of God that was found in the Old Testament, he'd be here. He would be like, "Hi, I'm here. I just killed someone in front of you, and you better do it." I guess that's
you
the
better
mean
not do
side,
what they did.
But yeah, or if you want to be nice, I mean, "Hi, I'm God. I'm here to be your buddy," or personal relationship,
I just cured cancer.
Or whatever. Yeah,
everybody with cancer just got better.
Poof, the Thanos snap. I think theists are their new thing of the hating analogies from talking snakes and daddy figures. I think is the Thanos analogy is going to be just so popular going forward. But hey, I mean, if a god could, if Marvel could think of it.
Let me put on my John from Tennessee theist hat and see what he would say. And he would say, well, you know, we only see God acting that way in the Old Testament because God had a plan, and that plan was to bring about the Messiah, and he needed a specific set of circumstances in the Old Testament that he needed to do that. He had to preserve a bloodline because the Messiah had to come from a certain bloodline. And therefore, then he had to, send Holy Ghost down to impregnate Mary because Joseph never did it with her before. So he had to do it himself. And then he had to have Jesus. And then he had to raise Jesus from the dead. But once all that was complete, the redemption was complete, the devil was defeated, which, I mean, if you think about it, could the devil have ever not been defeated? Because, again, God's omnipotent, so the devil could have tried all you wanted to thwart God's plan, but God would still always have a way of making his plan win in the end. So it's kind of not really kind of a melodramatic thing. It's like, let me guess, God's going to win. Like, yes, God's going to win, and he wins. And of course, that argument, that theistic argument,
the fact that God could even lose, he
could.
God's mess up all the. Well, apparently they say he.
But he plays the game.
But he plays the game.
He plays the game.
Why was the Tower of Babel even a thing? Like, why? Why didn't he just?
That is so complicated, and that's just a small story in the Bible, and we can't just extrapolate meaning from like just a few paragraphs written by Bronze Age goat herders. And is that going to be why you reject God? Is that it, Amy? Is that why you're going to reject God, just because of that? No, that's not why we reject God.
Well, that's a funny point. I'm going to bring that back up in a second. I just want to say, hey, dog, hey, Dave Gar, hey, we
got the whole crew in here now.
We got the whole crew, and you can sit back, listen, and play that sweet vidya all you want, because we're a pro vidya game channel. And absolutely. And Zoe, welcome Zoe in the house.
Is in? Wow.
Zoe says
nice.
Greetings. So
normalized Christianity.
We got everybody. And so, yes, so that was the other point. So that was, you just said reject. That's the other thing and that is really where the crux of, I guess, I thought this guy's argument really held water, is not powerful for us so much as it's a powerful argument, in my opinion, for people who think that that we're just hiding it. You atheists are just suppressing it. You really know a God is out there. You just are, when you get older, or when you're, in a foxhole or on your deathbed.
There's no atheists in foxholes, yeah.
Yeah, and all that stuff. Well, I mean, I don't know what to tell them other than no, and no. It's just, give me evidence. Give James evidence. Give the people in chat evidence.
Some evidence.
We want evidence.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Doesn't have to be good. But yeah, so that argument, that theistic thing that God needed to do all these crazy things in the Old Testament to preserve the bloodline for the Messiah. That's why God had to do things like just kill people for refusing to impregnate a woman, because God needed to do those things to bring about the Messiah. But actually, people tend to forget, but there is also a second coming that has to happen. So people tend to think that the second coming, the second round 2. So, even though Jesus came the first time, he still has to come back. And if it's a game where the devil has a role to play, then he can try to thwart that. So it really is unconvincing that God would still not take any active role in anything. He is just a bystander. He is in another dimension, just watching, like watching ants in an ant farm. And not convincing.
And what happened? Did the sacrifice make him become shyer? Because he, like I said, main character. He was
They
doing
would say
stuff all the time.
he intervenes as little as possible. So all those interventions in there were just the absolute minimum he needed to do to bring about the Messiah. And now that happened, he doesn't have to do anything anymore because that's already happened. The devil already lost. So he could just stand in another dimension and just watch. I mean, he might answer a prayer too now and then, so I guess he intervenes, but he does it in ways that cannot be detected by any scientific method whatsoever. Complete.
Yeah. And I mean, it depends on the theist, whether they're gonna say we're burning, we're just being separated from God. Like the actual consequences also change depending on who you ask.
Annihilationism is one that a lot of them take, that you'll burn, but just for a limited amount of time.
That's a little time.
Maybe as little as a few seconds, maybe as long as millions of years, but it will come to an end at some point.
Or a good combo I see often is it's only a few seconds, but it feels like eternity. Like they're trying to square that circle.
To fit that into the hole, Amy. Where you just try to fit that into the round hole.
But James,
pushing
you
as
need
hard
to
as
understand.
you can. It doesn't want to go, but you keep pushing.
This is torture light. You need to understand. This is diet torture. This is like only 50% of the torture as normal torture. So
this is like Hitler on a Valium or
yes,
like light.
Yes, exactly.
Like
Maybe we
Natty
just
Ice Light. Natty Ice Light, or I don't know, Mickey's Light. Do they make that?
Yes, it's like just like that. It's like a good old Miller Light, but it's like Dictator Light, North Korea Light.
Mike Pence is out, or Donald Trump's out, but don't worry, we got Mike Pence here. Praise Jesus.
Praise Jeebus. Praise this flying spaghetti monster. And okay, so we'll go over this.
Is everybody convinced? Is anybody convinced?
Yeah. Anyone? And so I'll read this. I'll give a shout out to this wonderful guy because he's a teaching at a college university, and this is open source.
I think people thought he was trying to make like a case for theism, but he's just outlining the whole.
Well, the first two cases, I think, were setting the boundaries. He was setting the assumptions. Yeah. Yes. Because it could be. I would say the Old Testament was his world number one. To go back for a second, let's see.
Maybe the Garden of Eden was, because as soon as man left that, they started making up other gods, and it was never like a big thing. No, it wasn't like, if they don't believe in Yahweh, they're gonna go to hell. It was like, no, we've got Yahweh, but they've got their own gods. They're doing their own thing, whatever.
And yes, and for as fucked up as Yahweh is, let's just say he's not my type. He lets you die. You die, and then the torturing ends. So at least there's that. But there's no questioning whether he exists. He's not like, hey, do you believe in me? He's like, hey, how are you? I'm Yahweh. Guess what you're gonna do? Or I'm gonna kill someone.
Oh, what's your name? Nice name. Not your name anymore.
Yeah.
Amy. No. Now you're Dan.
Now I know all the people getting their new name are all excited, and they're like, "Oh God, he's giving me my new name." But once
Jacob
again,
or Israel or
both? Little creepy.
Both. Israel the place,
exactly.
Or Israel the person, or Jacob.
Jacob's ladder. Speaking of not that at all, welcome Iron Charioteer in the house. The only thing that I think can kill this god, apparently. It's like kryptonite. Amazing.
Now, you might have a debate coming up, Amy, and versus a theist, maybe?
We shall see. So I might be doing a modern-day debate this Saturday, but it's still in the air, and it would be on, I think, similar to the topic on that. And then we're rescheduling, but I think Gavin's in a snowstorm or something. They're in a warning system. So we're going to reschedule that. But then the classic atheism versus theism debate,
Dun, dun,
Gavin
dun.
versus the Tyrannosaurus. So
if
free to
you
look
want to
for
win
that.
that debate, your only chance of winning that debate is to ride in on an iron chariot.
Dun, 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 dun,
Book a
dun,
ride,
dun.
yeah. Otherwise, you're going to lose.
There you go. And okay, so so I can actually imagine the one world. I don't think we're in that world, but according to, if we were living in the world of the Old Testament, then this would be the one that they would live in. This tends to be precept land. Like, this is the most annoying.
Yeah.
Like there's believers, and these non-believers are just all resistant believers. Like, this is condescending. No,
he's real. You just don't like it.
Yes.
You want to sin.
Just want to sin. Now, I don't think this is what the person is saying. Like I said, I think this he is just setting up his premises
Right.
so he can kind of knock it down, because clearly we don't live in this world.
No.
We live in a world, whether you and even premise 3, I think some people in chat were saying, has holes, and I'd be open to that. But at least you can say we live in a world, apparently, that, I don't care if I dislike Yahweh or not. If Yahweh is real, I want to know that shit. That's all I care about.
Yeah,
all I
number
care
3,
about is the truth.
You're taking something that's really complicated and trying to fit it in that small box on the screen there. So obviously it's a lot more complicated than that, but that is probably a good summary or outline of it. But yeah, there are more things to consider. But
basically, but he's. What are you gonna say? You finish?
That's just a rough outline, or a very simplistic, simplified version of it.
Exactly. And something to just think about. I will show that this is one of a 5-part series. So if you'd like to go to
University of
Edinburgh, so go check that out. And okay,
the Duke of Edinburgh.
Exactly. So in a second, we'll open it.
He wasn't one of the dukes in the Bible, though. He's a real duke.
Real duke.
Not one of the 43 dukes.
Not one of the exposition dukes. And speaking of true dukes being in the house, welcome Spooky Bed Hair, which is me on most days, and Zoe's twin brother, Oz, from Tart.live. Go check that out. You
know what, Amy? And I have to make this announcement even now. When we do get our channel membership, one of the tiers will be Duke.
That would be funny. That's a good inside joke.
Yeah,
that's not a bad idea. And okay, so I'm gonna go get the chat, and I'm gonna go send the link into chat, and we're gonna open it into our open mic portion. And so tell us what you have to think on our Midnight Ranting Divine Hiddenness. Where the frig is this deity? Or deities? We're open-minded, right?
Yeah. So a lot of times we hear things about like, oh, well, it's free will. And that's the common apologetic you're going to get from most of your street-level average Christians, not your apologists so much. But yeah, they say, well, that would interfere with free will if God made it apparent that he exists, because then you wouldn't have the choice to deny him. And if you think about it, I mean, God makes his existence pretty apparent to lots of people in the Bible, and they still are freely able to choose to do things that he doesn't like, regardless of knowing the fact that he exists or not. And that just knowing he exists does not automatically mean you will believe in him, follow him, love him. You just know he exists. I mean, we're going to see in the next couple books of the Bible that God's people, after getting them into slavery and then riding to their rescue to save the day, to rescue them from slavery, and doing all these magical things and miracles and miraculous things that, from time to time, realizing God is going to kill people for it, they still just decide to worship other gods just because they decided to, as you would do, right, Amy?
Yeah, as you do, as an omniscient being does.
Yeah. Why not? Worship other gods. What could go wrong with that?
And
we got Oz in the house.
Okay, and I just wanted to say, and so I'm going to send the link into chat. It's going in there right now. There is the link, and with that, it brings us to our...
Open the floodgates of hell.
Open the floodgates. Welcome, everyone. And I just wanted to say, I can't drill this home enough. I want to know what the biblical definition of free will is, because they drill this free will point themselves, but I do not see free will anywhere. At least we haven't come across it in Genesis. I'll tell you.
Doesn't seem to be a big thing. Like, it's not really a important concept, is it?
Nope. I don't know where they get it seems like a philosophical concept that has been, let's just say, ironed away, since we're talking about iron, over the past few thousand years to try and defend a sort of deism that is attractive to intellectuals.
I mean, how can you have free will if you to choose right or wrong when you don't understand the difference between right and wrong?
Yeah, it's bad right from the beginning. The Adam and Eve story is a bad parenting story. And I could forgive Adam and Eve. I could forgive Yahweh if he forgave Adam and Eve. He punished that. It's like spilling the juice box.
Hey, you guys didn't know it was wrong because I made you that way. Okay, my fault.
Yeah.
My bad.
Whoopsie. Or, like I said, playpen technology. I do not understand. We have walls, we have fences, and then there is playpen technology. He sell it at Target.
He's a virgin. He didn't know what he was doing. It's his first time making anything in eternity.
Fine.
His first time. He didn't know how to be a dad.
Look, first-time parent, single dad. I mean, enough to get a sitcom almost. But, I mean, he throws the kids out. First episode. I mean, what the hell?
I mean, that damn snake, right? That damn snake.
I forget who I've seen this joke before. It's an oldie, but a great one. Oh, it's Christopher Hitchens. Christopher always says, I always like to say there's free will because we had no choice. And speaking of free will, or probably, hi, Zoe's twin brother Oz.
So we got both of them in here.
Table.
Oz is here.
Woohoo!
Welcome, Oz.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. I got some new gear for the channel. I got some new recording gear for the music shit that I do, and I've had a good day today.
You do music?
Yeah, so a lot of the intros that you hear on our channel, I do a lot of those. So I got some new gear to make it sound better.
You do all that awesome audio visual work?
That is fucking awesome. You don't have to pay any royalties. You're like, I'm going to do my own music.
Yes, so absolutely. So Pasta Mike gets all the love and all the shine for the visuals.
Shout out to Pasta Mike.
And then a lot of the audio stuff that I do, I either buy the beats or I'll make like I just started making the beats, and I do all of any of the lyricism that you hear on that. That's all me recorded.
That's freaking awesome.
That is good work you do there, Oz. I got to hand it to you.
Thank you.
High quality work.
For people who do any sort of media, because playing an instrument is one of those things that everyone goes, I want to play an instrument. Everyone even has an instrument in mind, I think. Yeah. But actually going out there and recording and editing and putting that shit online,
right?
That's a musician.
It's like watching somebody fight and then going out and doing it yourself.
Yeah, well, I love that you said all those because that's because Amy, I would even say because I've always said that about comedy. I love stand up uh, comedy because it's the same thing. It's you.
It's
It takes all of the nerve and will and drive to put yourself out there to do that because when I first started doing it years ago, of course people laughed at me like, oh dude, you're garbage, that kind of thing. And now I put it out there and it might still be garbage, but I love doing it and I'm passionate about doing it. And that's what I tell people. And then for a short time before I got in a bad car accident, I was fighting and I'd put myself in there in the ring. I was like, I might get my ass beat tonight.
Really?
I might get my ass beat
Yeah.
tonight, but I'm going to get in that ring and I'm going to do everything I can to win. And I think that's, I will commend anybody that puts themselves and their talents and their passions out there. And you know what? If anybody says shit to you, ask them, when's the last time you did it? When's the last time you did
Hells
it?
yeah. Exactly. Put your money
It's
where
like
your mouth is, right?
Debating, fighting, stand-up comedy, you're putting yourself out there. You can win or lose, but
Yep.
And Donald, I see you backstage. In a minute, I'll let you in. And so before we let Donald in, Midnight Ranting, Divine Hiddenness. Do you have any thoughts on where the heck this deity seems to be? He's playing hide and seek. I don't know
where's he
where.
at?
I'll tell you where this God is. This God is in the mind of those that create them. That's
There you go.
where that God is. And I saw it. I want to make it a T-shirt. I'm trying to figure out a way to reword it so it's not like plagiarism or anything. But the quote was the human brain, the birthplace of every God. And I was like, damn, if that's not fucking like dartboard accurate, I don't know what it is. So divine hiddenness is bullshit. There's nothing hiding because there's nothing there. It's not
Bullshit.
hiding. It's not hiding behind anything. Just like I say, free will is bullshit. Faith is bullshit. Divine hiddenness is bullshit. It's all made up in the mind.
And a lot of times it seems like, I mean, I hate to turn against them, but it seems politically correct. It seems like there's a PR department somewhere within all these theological circles, and they're like, intelligent design. That sounds catchy. Ooh, get that one down.
Yeah, that's a legal term to try to make it palatable for the courts instead of God or creationism. Oh, we'll call it that. It doesn't sound like it's religion. It's religion, but under a different name. And I love the thing where you ask a theist, you ask a Christian, where did God come from? They don't know. They have no answer for you there. They'll say, well, we don't know, but here's the thing. We know where God came from. Right, Amy? Right, Oz? We know exactly where he came from. Man made him up. He came from the minds of men.
And if theists disagree, feel free to prove us wrong. Come on, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even I'll say this, and you could bring Dak on, because I'm sure Zoe will want to talk to him later. But
I can understand.
Normalized Christianity.
Absolutely. And I hate that my own brother is on the extreme other side that I am. But even with this recent position change of mine with mythicism, when it comes to Jesus Christ, that I no longer believe just not only was he not divine, I don't believe that there was a character. I believe there was people alive back then named Jesus. I just don't believe that we have evidence to support that there was a Jesus that did all these Bible stories. I don't think that guy existed.
The Gospels are myth, is what I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, the Gospels are myth, and we don't even know who the authors are. They're they're anonymous, and even Paul even says in his writings, he only saw the dream God or the dream Jesus
in
or
a vision,
he didn't even. So I don't know. I'm to the point where we don't until there's good evidence to support it. I have to apply the same skepticism to the Jesus claim as I do the Yahweh claim.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing they say is Paul supposedly met some of the other disciples or the apostles, but that still doesn't mean that they actually knew some guy named Jesus.
Yeah, he lived
But it
50
wasn't
years
there.
after.
Yeah.
That's nonsense as far as a claim. I mean, that's fine. If it happened, sure, I'm not discounting that it's impossible, but already we need to be very skeptical of a guy claiming he saw someone 50 years after he died. I mean, come on. And so I think Donald has his own stream coming up. So I want to get him in so he can say his thoughts. And I'm giving a shout out to his stream right now. But speaking of that, Donald, how
Welcome
are you?
back.
We're having our Midnight Ranting on
Hawaiian
Divine
shirt night.
Hiddenness. I have a feeling you may have thoughts on this subject.
Hawaiian
I have
shirt
some
night.
thoughts on it. I mean, for one, if gods are real and they're not hiding, why don't they show up on my channel on my new series, All Gods Invited? Because it's in the
It's
title.
been quite a few streams now, and still
yeah.
nothing, right?
Yeah, I'm cutting back on them now because I've got too much to get done. But I'll still be doing them, just not as frequently. I got a call from someone. I won't say who. If he shows up, he can tell you himself. I sent him the link by text message, but he's I got a call and I had to mute this for a while because somebody was like walking home worried they're going to freeze to death because they didn't have a ride home and it's in bad weather and no God showing up to help. So I thought that was rather appropriate for this. So yeah. And as far as the Jesus character goes, what Oz was saying about sure there was probably somebody back then named Jesus. Well, the whole thing is it wasn't even the name Jesus. As a matter of fact, what name was it? Was it Yeshu or Yeshua or Joshua? There were, there may have been several different names of several different people, some people with the same names as each other and some with different names than each other. We don't even know how many people, and we don't know how many people had names that were completely different than Jesus that might have been people whose, bits of their story end up mixed in with the Jesus story. And then, just the name changed. And to give you an idea, because keep in mind, it's both translated and transliterated. And to give you an idea just how bad that can be and how much Christians and other theists can ignore it, keep in mind that most Christians I know think the Bible talks about Jesus. Not the Bible, the Old Testament of the Bible talks about Jesus.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. But they mention, for example, in this one place where it says, and his name will be called Emmanuel. How close is that to Jesus?
One of his names, Donald.
One of his names. Well, yeah. And none of them are even remotely, none of the names that the Old Testament says are going to be, used for the person that Christians say is Jesus being mentioned in the Old Testament. None of those names come even remotely close to Jesus or Jesus or Joshua or Yeshua or anything like that.
I'm having a flashback to your debate where Kent did that name exposition with you. Remember that, Donald?
Which is messed up, but
name exposition. Oh, that.
Yeah. Right at the beginning,
love.
he went through all your names and everything, and it's like, yeah.
Well,
we have that for you, but not for
He should have went on my IMDb page and read off like 30 nicknames, because why not?
Well, there you go. So even you have multiple names, Donald. So
yeah,
it's like God,
and
it's like Jesus.
Yeah, and that's the thing, maybe he was one person with multiple names, but then why do they use one name consistently in the New Testament, regardless of what time in his life, and the Old Testament before he was even alive, they're using a bunch of different names. That seems kind of inconsistent.
Yeah.
I mean, but who knows? I mean, maybe maybe eternal beings get tired of names over lifetimes and change their name, like every so many human lifetimes or so.
Every once in a while, you just have to come along and kill a fig tree. After you have a conversation with the tree, you kill it.
I just want to say, you're very shady. You're not showing your real name.
You get tired of talking out of your, talking out to or out of your ass.
Buy my DVD. Creation.
My tax dollars. I don't want my tax dollars going to support evolution to teach your religion, Amy.
Which is why he doesn't pay his tax dollars.
Have you guys heard Dr. Josh's impression of Hovind?
Is it as good as Aaron
haven't.
Rodgers
I have
on
seen.
Rodgers?
I have
have.
seen Dr.
I
Josh.
have.
He's a good guy.
I don't recall it very well, but it was very good.
It's dead. It's dead on. I think it's either the last debate or the one before that we had on our channel. We did kind of like a impromptu after show, and my aunt called in, which is a Christian kind of going through deconstruction now, and Pasta Mike was like, Kathy, do you know Kent Hovind? And she was like, no, I never heard of him. She's like, I'm going to introduce you to Kent Hovind. And Dr. Josh goes into it. I was in tears. I was like, holy shit, this is dead on.
He has such a distinctive voice. It's so hard. It's probably good. I want to see it now.
It's the voice, and he has that cadence where he's like, hey, hey. You know, he like breaks up his, like he's got those little chuckles in there. The cadence is perfect.
Like
where he kind of laughs at his own joke.
Yeah, he
he's
thinks
like
he's
trying to egg the audience on. Hey, that's funny. Laugh, laugh.
He's like, I think it's funny. If maybe I start to laugh, you'll laugh, and if not, then I wasn't really laughing.
Yeah, he waits for it. That's the best times. Is that you hear those little pauses.
I've never heard a comedian analyze Ken Hovind's comedy, so that's interesting. Watching Amy watch his comedy routine.
I was telling James, I think he secretly wants to be a comedian.
It's more of a comedy routine seminar than a lecture or creationism.
He has a good amount of jokes, and it's. What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say, or is it that he's just found the comedy in the Bible?
It's hard to miss. You know?
Yeah, it's kind of. Well, you know, the Bible is full of it, and I don't mean just comedy either.
Full of asses and sacks and balls.
It is full of asses and sacks.
And just plain full of it.
That too.
And Amy, I just want to say, and if somebody wants to screen grab this and share it, whatever. But when you see Mr. Gavin, tell him Oz is still looking for him.
Uh-oh. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, he runs from me.
I bet.
He runs.
Every time he. Like if
With
it's,
or without?
if it's a
Not
channel,
make jokes.
if it's a channel with pants, with if it's a channel where he has mod, then he just mutes me like over and over and over and over. And if it's one that he can't,
Really?
he runs, like he leaves.
Yeah, I get timed out when I troll him in any channel where he's got my.
Yeah,
the last
I seem to have gotten
the last one I showed up on, and I seriously wasn't there to troll at all. Like he was wanting to talk about the resurrection, and I love talking about the resurrection. So I went live. I jumped on, and as soon as I did, he was like, "Oh, who let him on here?" I was like, "Dude, I just came on to talk about the resurrection. Like that's what you want to talk about." And he left. I'm like,
really?
He doesn't want to talk.
I seem to be having that
What were you
effect
gonna
on
say?
theists on my channel in general.
I run, and I want to say, Oz, you remind me of I think. Maybe James will say, maybe even Donald has a similar tactic. You know, we're always start nice. It's not like we come in looking for a fight. It's just eventually, are we going to be here on a loop for 40 minutes? Because I got to crack jokes at that point, or what are we doing? We're going to insane. Like, you got to start a little bit of trolling. A little bit of trolling.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. I 100% have trolled that man. 100%. But when I come in, I will tell somebody. I'll tell somebody like, "Oh, I'm here to fuck around," or I'll be like, "No, I'm actually here to talk. Let's talk. I will not troll. Let's have a conversation." And when it's that, and you just dip out, it's like, come on, bro. Like you're challenging all these other people, and as soon as somebody that you know can have an actual conversation with you about it, you fucking dip.
Yeah, that shows you how sure they are of what they believe in, because they can't really face the tough questions. You know, they have to shield their faith from the facts.
Yep. So if Amy's going to see him, just Amy, when you see him,
tell
him to holler at your boy. Holler at your boy.
Oz is looking for you. He probably hangs around with Zoe a lot, but I mean, you know, they're right in the same park. But
that's probably true. Actually, you know, I think I've seen him on what's his name, that weird guy. Praise.
I am that I am that I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. I think I've seen him on there.
On there a lot. Yeah. Praise.
I think it says praise me because I am, and praise me that I am.
Well, his main Praise I Am That I Am, that account he's not using because it's banned from streaming till May, I think. Might have had a copyright issue with that one, so he's using another account. Oh, well.
Oh, so he's a dishonest thief. That's cool.
Yeah, go figure. So Amy put the wanted poster out for Gavin. Oz is looking for him.
And what I was going to say, a lot of, maybe it's atheist too, maybe I have selection bias, but I don't know what's with this YouTube theist thing with this Jekyll and Hyde. Like, they have very nice sides, and they have, it's like talking with a guy on the internet who wants to date. It is like, hi, you're so pretty. And why don't you respond to me, you fucking bitch, and you're not right. It's like, okay. Yeah. So I don't know what's with the, my joke is always, we see Sunflower, and he's always very, ready to go and chat. Yeah. And then he comes on, and then he's like, hello, gentlemen and gentle ladies. How are you doing tonight? And we're like, okay, hi, yeah. Sunflower. How are you?
He was in Donald's stream the other day.
Well, that's the thing with Gavin. We've had him,
and I'm still listening.
I think we had him two or three times doing debates with Randolph, which Randolph, for the record, is a human being that I respect the hell out of.
Absolutely.
And,
Randolph's awesome.
And I'll say this. I've told him this privately, and I'll say it publicly. He is one of the best examples and representations of atheism that we have. He is upstanding, high character, all that. And we had Gavin on there, and Gavin was always like super respectful. And then what turned me away was the last one we had, the debate we had with those two on there. Randolph manhandled him in the debate. I mean, just manhandled him. And on ours, we do at the end announce a winner, and we base the winner not on whether we agree or not, but who better presented their argument. Right. Even if we don't agree with it, who better presented their argument. And we gave it to Gavin because, or not to Gavin, to Randolph, because he ran circles around him. Well, then they did a after show on Praise's channel, and they were just like talking shit about Randolph, about me, about the channel. And I'm like, whoa. We've never done anything but treat you fairly, ever. That's all we've ever done. And and actually up to this point, you've been cool, but then you come on here tonight, and as soon as you lost the debate, you showed that you don't have pants on and showed the whole world your ass on our channel. So now you look like a juvenile. And then you go on that channel and you try to throw everybody, like you're taking character shots,
or at least look like an ass from one angle.
Yeah, exactly. And it was that's when I took issue with Gavin and that whole crowd. It was like, oh, okay. So the second I thought, like, maybe we could slowly start to not blend, but grow a relationship where we can have cordial conversations and debates and all that. You lose a meaningless debate at the end of the day, the grand scheme of things, right? And you just want to shit on everybody. No, now I have an issue.
Yeah, he's not a good faith actor. I wouldn't consider him to be
and once again,
upper tier debater.
Theist. Oh, I would say Christians, theist. Is this the guy you want representing you? Is that really who you want being your intellectual powerhouse? Now, I say this with love because Gavin wants to debate me. So, Gavin, still debate me. I heart you. But you shouldn't do that. Freaking do not do.
Yeah, Gavin, debate Amy. But as soon as you want to actually put your big boy pants on and talk to me, then I'm here, man.
If he has any, which remains to be seen. We don't know that for a fact.
And that's the thing. I don't even know why he runs, because him and I have yet to have like a one-on-one conversation. He won't let it happen.
Well, did he ever give an explanation? It wasn't like, oh my, you caught me, or oh my, I'm sorry that I ever did this. It's just,
nope. I gave him.
He's just trying to pretend like it never happened.
Exactly. And then on Praise's channel, they tried to laugh it off like it was no big deal. And I was like, you know what? I gave you guys a week to.
He's been trolled about it.
Some type of explanation
by me,
and you were not a. Yeah. And everybody else, you cannot. You still haven't been man enough to give an explanation or anything. So now you're not allowed on our platform. But if I see you anywhere else, I will try to have that conversation with you.
Calls us Satan bots. That's
We,
fantastic. He's the best.
We don't
nicer
run
guy in
away
the story.
from these theists. If they're welcome to come on. They don't like to come on and talk. Come on,
I
John
know.
from Tennessee. Come on.
Sometimes I feel like we scare them away when we
Come
respond
on.
in.
I'll say it. If I say it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. She doesn't
Come on.
bite.
Unless you want to, or unless you like that.
Otherwise, yeah.
But yeah, we don't mute theists. We don't mute atheists unless, people are having sound problems. But everyone is welcome on board. And to say your piece, bring your arguments. Like Oz was just saying, doesn't matter who we are. It doesn't matter if you got a fancy certificate or debt or not. Do you have arguments? Do you have good reasons for your beliefs?
You could be a PhD like Ken Hovind or a PH nothing like us. Well, nobody.
I was about to say, I'm proud of it. I'm a high school dropout, and I've just busted my ass and studied my ass off and read my ass off and did all that to be anything in life.
Yeah.
I think Robert Downey Jr., I was just seeing an interview by him. He said 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration.
Yep.
But there you go. That's
99%
RDJ.
Presbyterian.
Yeah, exactly. But
99% Presbyterian?
it's okay, Dave Garr. I'll go gentle. I promise.
Perspiration, same thing, more or less, right? No.
Same thing.
Praise Jesus.
When I think about Christians and perspiration, I think of like the charismatic evangelicals that like run around the church, like do laps, and they're like slinging oil everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or the extreme version of the Pentecostals known as the Holy Rollers.
Well, it's the same vein, and I always hear it in the background.
Same vein.
The gospel, the dun, 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 and you see everybody running around the church. It's like, what is this?
Actually,
Indy 500?
let me give you an image of Christian perspiration. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Oh God. Oh God. Is it TD Jakes?
No, it's a classic one. For just how much they trust Jesus, how much they trust the Lord.
See, we live in a universe where I can't tell if you're joking spooky or you're being serious, but I like it either way. And Praise had a 4-hour stream arguing over whether Noah was descended from Cain or Seth. Once again, I love these names. It just reminds me of Dan. And we shall be named Ziphil and
Abadatha
and Dan. I know.
But keep in mind,
Bathsheba.
But keep in mind, we have all of these complicated names. But
Diaphragm.
the four books that are the cornerstones of the faith are Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Really washed those ones over, didn't they?
They really thought that through. Like we have all these other like 6-syllable names, but when it comes to this, we're going to keep this as westernized as fucking possible.
So guys, we were back in the PR department, and it sounded a little. We don't want to say Arabic. We just did out loud, so let's just say Middle Eastern. Do you guys have like a Luke, like a good Star Wars name?
I gotta go start my.
Oh yes, a shout out to Donald Stream.
Eminent
Reflection. We're gonna
maybe God will show up today.
Donald. I've got a good feeling.
Oh, I'm now live. Just Amy, just so you know, I sent you the link through your Twitter. If you check your in direct messages on Twitter.
The thing.
I'm
learning how to do that. In fact, this shout out to Ogre, who I just
the show is live. This is episode 7 of All Gods Invited, and I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic on Amy Newman's show, which I was in. Well, I'm switching over to this. Thanks, Amy.
Bye.
Bye, Donald.
Imminent Reflections. That sounds like a 1980s Amy Grant Christian.
Oh no,
album.
it's eminent reflection, not reflections. But if you try to search for it on YouTube, it'll try to put the S on the end.
As it would.
It still sounds like an Amy Grant album.
There you go, Donald. It's in the chat.
Praise God. Praise
so
Jesus.
now if Yahweh is in chat specifically, he'll see it. Because maybe that was the problem. You never know. We're eliminating variables.
But will Gavin be in too with Yahweh, or
You
would
never
that not
know.
would Gavin run if he saw God come in?
Oh,
and
I'll make sure Zoe doesn't show up. Oz will be there for that.
I know. We never know. That is funny.
Hey,
just on a side note, I did at a certain point, because of my whole coming back as a different person after moving away at a country, my dentist really did think there was two people, and I didn't have the heart to break it to him. So he used to come in. He's like, "How's your brother?" And I was like, "He's great."
You guys have remarkably the same dental profile. Like,
of all the people, he had my dental records. He's the only person that could have known.
Amy, that's hysterical.
And he'd come in, he'd ask my mom, and my mom would have to go. She'd be like, her twin brother is fantastic.
He has a filling in the same tooth up there and the same tooth up there.
It's amazing.
The same crown over here, the same exact thing.
I know. I have a space right there in the back there.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Mirrored.
Twins.
It's amazing how that happens.
Yeah, amazing.
That's the whole the things that make you go,
I know. Oh, I've had all sorts of funny things. I mean, I'll say one more funny thing and just we'll go back to it. But I was at a club once during an open mic, and I had a guy who wanted to buy me a drink, and I always go 50-50 on these things. And it was the first time that he just put his hands up to my hand, and he looked at his hand, he looked at my hand, and he's just like, that's maybe you do athletics. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I do athletics, sure. Go get me that drink.
Look at those hands, Amy. Tremendous hands. Huge.
Tremendous hands. I have presidential hands, apparently.
Maybe you do athletics once again.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm a pole thrower.
Can palm a basketball, just,
Exactly. As many euphemisms as I could fit in the next 5 seconds.
Like Wilt Chamberlain. Larry Bird.
Woo-hoo. And sending love out to the chat. Sending hearts. I see you out there, Robert. And Spooky and Aunt Jur and everyone out there. And Titan Dog.
Surprised none of the Theos want to come in. I mean,
I know. Especially with... And hi, Donald. We see you.
He's multi-streaming, multitasking.
Multitasking. We're trying to normalize atheism, and boy, howdy.
Normalize Dak.
Tell Dak I'm sending Zoe over there.
Oh no!
Where the brothers are fighting.
You see this graphic up here for me?
And so... yeah, I know. What a wonderful. I know. We're having good. Oh, welcome, Scapegoat. Woohoo! In fact, Scapegoat back is
It's always
back.
good to have a scapegoat around,
Tip your waitress. So if anyone would like to join us on our Midnight Ranting Divine Hiddenness, we'll go a little bit longer while the content is juicy and fun. And Donald's in matching purple. I just want to point that out. Not that.
Now we do not know.
Thank you.
Oh, he's got on the blanket behind him, his hair, the shirt. We don't know if he has pants on, but we assume that they would be purple if he did.
We assume so.
Most likely.
And okay, so the link is in chat.
Did you see the picture I put in the private chat?
The picture in private chat. Let me.
The Christian
give me
perspiration.
Oh, wonderful. Hey, that's another interesting thing. You would
We
think,
will have to.
I'm getting a call, so I'm gonna give me 1 second. I'm putting this up on the screen. I'm gonna be right back.
Ooh, yeah, the
Yeah.
snake handlers.
Now, there are people who have faith, but you see the one guy, he's got quite a bit of perspiration down under his arm right there. Looks like he is drenched. It's a black and white photo, and the other guy, he's missing an arm, so you can assume that was probably a snake bite. They had to amputate the arm, but you never know when you're handling rattlesnakes. Stuff happens, and yeah.
And you would think these. Well, no, I will retract that. You won't think that. But eventually, these people have to run into somebody that will let them know that, like, that part of the Bible, is it Mark, that talks about you can handle snakes and drink venom and or
Yes.
poison and do all. Like, that was added later, guys. Like, that wasn't like, even if the original text was real and legit, that was added later. And you probably shouldn't be handling like rattlesnakes and
No.
mambas and all that shit. Like, you probably
Not
shouldn't be
as
doing
part of a religious thing. I mean, if you're trained and experienced to handle them, but not like they do in church, where they're
Well, so
just tempting God.
that. Yeah, that's what I mean. I agree with you. As a religious activity, you should not be grabbing rattlesnakes and vipers and all that shit. Like, that's not real life, guys. Just like the flood wasn't real life, and the burning bush wasn't real life, and the talking snake wasn't real life. That shit's not real life.
The talking rattlesnake was not real, and you should not try to pet or find a talking rattlesnake. Yeah, you'll be talking to the doctor, or you'll be talking to the undertaker. You won't be talking to anybody. There's a good chance of that, and yeah, that happens every so often. One of these guys ends up getting bit, and often enough, wouldn't you know, they die. And a lot of them, by faith, they believe that if they are bit in church, that they should not seek medical care for the bite, because if they're bitten, they need to just have faith that God will heal them. And you know what happens to them a lot of times? They end up dead.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Well, I was about to say the one family that made it on that, like,
The show, yeah.
the show, the documentary, whatever it was, he bit and he ended up dying, right? The younger guy.
The younger guy, no. He ended up, his basically family said, screw God, we're taking you to the hospital. And he ended up making it out after over a month, I think, in the hospital. He came
that's right.
damn
That's
close
right.
to dying.
Yep.
After his father was killed by a rattlesnake in church. Yeah.
Yep. You're right. I knew one of them died, but yeah, now you say that, I remember him being in there.
He almost died. Damn close. Now, if he wouldn't have gone to the hospital when he did,
yeah.
Oh yeah, he would have been dead. And yeah, that's the thing, is that they do have faith. You can't deny that, but what they have faith in is not real. There's it's like the other image. Like where the Pope goes around with 3 inches of bulletproof glass. Like, nothing says you got faith in Jesus like 3 feet, 3 inches of bulletproof glass, because he's not thinking about God to save him from the bullets. He's relying on man.
Yep. And like we say at the Atheist Roundtable, faith is bullshit.
It's bullshit. Yeah. It because you got faith in man because it's real. We are real. Bulletproof glass is real. God's not.
Yeah, I will. As much as I'm a reptile fan, and we had a brain bug on our show yesterday, and we talked about scorpions and tarantulas, and I brought up reptiles a little bit because those are my favorite. It's like there's certain limits that I know. Like, there's certain animals that I know that I can handle. And there's other ones it's like, no, I'm not trained to do this.
Right.
I'm not going to touch this animal. But yet these people will do, and they still do it today. No training or anything. They just go and do it, and hope in faith through or by God that they're not going to get bitten, die. It is just crazy to me.
What's actually messed up about it is they think that to really show their faith, like, they can't just it's one thing to just pick up these animals, but they try to handle them in like the most aggressive way to like agitate the animal. Like they're like flailing these animals around, and these are these are wild animals that somebody from the church just went out herping one day and collected a snake or whatever from the wilderness or whatever. These are not animals born in captivity. So, you're taking an animal from the wild and you're just flailing it around to try to show that you're not being careful with it. You're not being coy with it. You're not being timid with it. And I've even seen in some of the videos where they'll put the snakes on the ground and like step on them and all this. And it's actually amazing that they don't end up getting bit more often than they do. And that's not because of God. That's just because the grace of these snakes, because they could be a lot more bites.
Yeah, well, and I'm sure some of the time the snake is stunned. Like, I've never felt this before. I've never been through this before.
Yeah.
What's going on? But yeah, to what you just said, it's they literally go catch them from the wild, and the videos you watch, they'll take it, and within days of capturing them from the wild, we can't make any claims on what they have or haven't fed them. But what we can see on camera is what you just said, they're not only they flailing them everywhere, but they're dancing like these crazy ass dances, flailing them with their arms just going around, no idea where the head of that snake is, which obviously is the most dangerous part of that snake, just flailing it around. And it's like, do you like, you have to understand what you're doing, but are you so lost in the sauce that you don't actually grasp that you could die tonight? Like,
easily,
you could die tonight because you want to entertain yourself or entertain somebody. Is that what you're doing?
You want to prove to yourself that you actually believe this stuff, that you are willing to do that. And I think a lot of that's what it is they're trying to prove to others and prove to themselves that, like, hey, do I really, really believe in this? Do I really, really believe in this? Well, if I really believe it, then I need to do what the Bible says, and I need to just pick up this snake and trust in God. And they're trying to prove it to themselves.
Yeah, I don't get it. As much as I love and respect reptiles, both whether it's a restrictor, a venomous snake, like, they all deserve respect. But the fact that these people will dance and throw their heads around and put their lives on the line just to prove their faith to themselves or their family, because usually in those churches it's just family. There may be one or two people that are, but it's like just to prove it to you and your hillbilly family. I don't get it.
It used to be more common. I know at one point there was, I think in the late 40s, a girl, like a 10-year-old girl, was killed by a rattlesnake in Georgia, and the state really cracked down on it, and they actually made it a capital offense to snake handle in church if it led to somebody's death. But they ended up repealing that. But I think it really only happens in mainly like West Virginia. I think there's one church in Alabama that does it, but you're talking about a handful of churches, but still one is too many. It's just crazy, but that's religion for you.
Yep. Yeah.
Only religion would lead people to do something like that. I mean, anybody else who would
you're right.
see animals like that and just say, like go to, it's like the crazy people who like see the killer whale videos on TV, and then they decide to sneak into SeaWorld and go swimming with a killer whale. And what ends up happening is they end up finding their body floating in the tank the next morning when they come in, because it's not like it is on the videos.
No. The one thing we're talking about this, and I'm sure it's out there. It kind of goes along those lines of you see signs like "Don't eat this" or "Don't touch that." Well, the reason they had to point the sign or make the sign is because somebody actually fucking tried it, and did it. The one thing that I haven't heard yet, which, like I said, I'm sure it's been done, is in that scripture it talks about you can drink poison and it will not hurt you. I'm surprised we haven't seen churches where it pops up where it's like,
actually.
see, I said it's probably been done.
There are churches where they make that claim, where they do that. Now, I am willing to bet that they are not taking fatal doses, or if it is what would be a fatal dose, that they have gradually stepped that up to the point where their body is resistant to it. I do not believe that you could have just one of these Christians who had not take a lethal dose of strychnine and survive because of the power of Jesus. I'd be open to seeing that, but yeah, I don't buy it.
Yeah, it's
Welcome back, Amy.
Thank you. Okay, I had to grab Sam. I think Sam is actually stuck somewhere. So I just got her an Uber. She's gonna.
What are you saying, Oz?
Let me.
We're just talking about Christians drinking poisons to prove their faith.
Like this, the literal snake oil. Fantastic.
And God said.
And so, actually, Brainbug is backstage. So we're bringing in Brainbug. Brainbug, how are you? Donald's
hi, yeah. I was listening to you guys talking about the rattlesnakes, and I wanted to come in and say my piece on it because they treat these like they're a really abundant species. Rattlesnakes, they're very similar to like tortoises and stuff. They use that strategy of reproduction where they produce a lot of offspring with a high mortality rate in juveniles, and as they grow up, they potentially can live for a very long time. Rattlesnakes can live for upwards of 30 years. But the eastern rattlesnakes are very endangered. They're wiped out, and a lot of the I think they're kind of been pushed back into the like the Appalachian regions and maybe into some of the swamps, but they're pretty rare.
Destruction, yeah.
And people just going out and collecting them in the wild like that. This is an animal that's maybe going to live for all this time, and you're just destroying its life to dance around, to prove that you're not scared of dying. It's ridiculous.
What do you think about the like out in the West where they have the rattlesnake roundup in Texas, where they just kill like thousands of these? Is that different out west? Are the Western Diamondbacks not so endangered?
No, that's not. That's not something that's needed. There's no need to cull them like that. It's just trying. It's basically trophy hunting.
Seems like cruelty to me, like from what I've seen it. And I'm not like animal rights isn't like a banner I wear, but I mean I've seen it, and it does seem like it's excessive and cruel and unnecessary.
Yeah, definitely. Culling. There are times and places where culling is necessary to maintain the ecosystem, of course, but taking out a mesopredator like that really throws everything off balance. And there's a lot of these factors that come into play. There's not even any way to make contingency for it because you can't anticipate every like the network of interconnectivity between everything that lives in that ecosystem and how they all depend on each other, anticipating what could possibly come up to after you wiped out one species, just a domino effect. It's ridiculous that we just do this left and right, wiping our entire ecosystems that way.
And the truth of the matter is that for all these snakes that there are out there and all the people that there are, that these fatal bites are relatively rare. It's not like people are being killed left and right. Like it's actually pretty rare.
The bites are people doing stuff like this. People messing with them. They have one on their property or something, and they try to remove it instead of
Bible burner.
letting professionals handle it or leaving it be. Because you can usually leave them be, and they're not going to bother you or your family. But
typically, they're not aggressive. No.
Yeah, and they're pretty docile. They eat and then they go sleep. And
I mean, like I said,
on a rock.
You've seen these videos from the churches, and if they were aggressive, I mean, these people would be dropping like flies. I mean, the bites you do see, I mean, they really typically have to really rile this snake up and this is an animal that has no clue what's going on. You have to,
they're not in healthy conditions. Someone mentioned it in the chat, but I'm going to say again that Nervardia's video about the snake handling was excellent, about the way that the snakes are treated. So if you haven't watched that, go check that out.
Yeah, there's
living fire. They are trying to, speaking of living fire, my cat is scratching, but they do this stuff because they're literalists and they're trying to prove how right the Bible is. And then when they're in the ER,
I think they're trying to prove to themselves that they really believe in this. I think that's part of it, and prove to others. And that's like in these faith communities, that's like if you really believe and you're a real Christian, you won't hesitate to go over and pick up the snake. I mean, they don't force people to, but it's kind of like if you're there and you don't want to go over there picking up the snake, like, why? Do you not really believe? Or do you think God would have a reason not to protect you? Or do you have something going on in your life that you need to open up about? Yeah, it's a messy, nasty.
But if you're a real Christian, have you come to the realization at this point that the snake is usually the end of your demise?
It could be, yeah.
I mean, the snake. They blame.
has a pretty good track record.
Yeah, they blame the snake in the garden, like that ended. That fucked it up for all of us. It fucked it up for all of us. Now you want to keep going and teasing the snake?
But Oz, that's different. The devil possessed that snake. You can't. You got to blame the devil, even though God didn't punish the devil. God just punished the snake, but it's complicated.
James, now you're taking it all out of goddamn context, man. Jesus.
You got to read the Bible, Oz. Read the Bible. It's right there.
No, see, James, you're wrong yet. It's the Bible.
The Bible?
Oh. It's
Bible.
It's Bible and Jesus.
Praise Jesus. Praise Amy. At least she's real.
Praise the flying spaghetti monster.
No, but it is disgusting what
absolutely
what some of these folks will do. I mean, making animals their point of worship or point of attention, and I even think about it because being a musician, and the studies I've done on what music does to the brain, especially tied into religion. It's like that high octane, like music that they start. It's that very rhythm driven. Like
it puts the brain into an altered state.
Yeah, war chant type music. You get that going, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I can handle any fucking snake in the world. I would take on a fucking bear right now. Where's the lions? Bring on the lions.
And can I say something that's been recently bothering me? And, it's just a shot at religion in general, not the specific people that follow the religion. But I recently learned it's haram in Islam to play musical instruments with strings.
Huh.
And so that cuts out. If you're a dog owner, you're not supposed to own anything but really cats. And you're not supposed to play musical instruments. I don't know.
Well,
they seem like such human restrictions that I do.
Got a cat behind you. Yeah.
Yes, not that I don't love kitties. Kitties are awesome. So are all the other animals. But it would be just.
You should have tweeted the Ayatollah about that before he got banned.
I know, before he got that.
Ask him, hey, what's going on with the instruments thing?
Exactly. And did we say hi? Did I say hi to Speed of Sound? Speed of Sound?
No, you put his chat up, but we did not shout him out yet.
Check out Answers in Atheism, which makes me laugh every time.
Speed of Sound also. Because, he got that before. That's a great one that he got, that name that he got. We should have thought of that first, but he got it.
It's a great name.
It is. It's a great name.
And okay. I will say one thing before we change the topic. Has nothing to do with venom, but I just think snakes are cool because they're one of the few species. They're not supposed to really do this, but under stress, under extreme levels of stress, the females can asexually reproduce.
Parthenogenesis, they can.
Which I find just fascinating. So it's especially for a multi-celled organism to have a clone.
Yeah, Matt Powell.
you see the videos like where the snake keepers will actually go sometimes, and they'll have just one snake in there, and then they'll find babies, and then they know what happened because
And
that
so,
does happen.
Spooky. That is a good point. They do allow certain music. So, like I said, they'll allow drummed music. They'll allow chanting. They allow music if it's in for religious, spiritual reasons. Blah, 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 blah.
Praise Allah.
And sometimes they'll say like maybe Iranian pop music
Praise Allah.
if it is found to be culturally acceptable, then they may play some. I'd love to hear some, but yeah.
I think my buddy told me it's chanting, any pipe or wind music or instruments, and then any percussion.
That's true, Simus, because they have. I'm sure like the more hardcore sects probably would throw those people off of roofs.
So I was gonna just before we close out on the snake thing,
Absolutely.
talking about parthenogenesis. So was no, there's no synapses, which is what mammals are, and that have been shown to reproduce through parthenogenesis. However, diapsids, it's kind of common, especially in lepidosaurs, which is lizards and snakes. So my question would be, what kind of lizard or snake was Jesus?
Yeah, I mean,
so we're talking about the lizard people. There you go.
He was Jewish, right? Right, Amy? So
it's all starting to make sense.
That's where Amy went before. She had to get some heat from her heating rock that she lays on.
Yeah.
After she shapeshifts, backstage.
Yep. She's gonna have her UV light.
Exactly. Hey, that's a different story. Let's not put.
She has a really long tail too. You guys don't want to see her tail.
It's
really,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yes, really, exactly.
A really long tail.
I bind it just like the opposite.
Longer than Gavin's, I think, too.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
Oh boy. Now I don't want to compare sizes. We don't want to go there. Everyone's special in their own way.
Praise Jesus. Jeebus.
Praise Jeebus.
Jesus.
And okay. So I think we're getting to the point of where we're realizing a god is not going to show up, at least in this episode. Maybe they'll come in Donald's episode, if you know what I mean, baby.
We got that, Amy. We got it.
Zoe. We got that. Yeah, it was Zoe.
Is he out active right now?
He will be shortly.
Okay.
He will be so
how do they think the Ayatollah would deal with? Do they allow hair coloring in countries like Iran?
I mean, it all depends. I find
Is that haram?
Just that
like unnatural colors, or
it might be. I mean, they're slowly being liberalized. I mean, it can't last that way forever.
I just have a hard time imagining going to like Iran and going to like CVS and seeing like orange hair dye or something like that. Anything crazy like that.
Piercings and stuff.
Right.
Supposedly they are talking about PR. Supposedly Iran specifically is very transgender friendly, with the asterisk by it that they are not gay friendly, which is like that's how that once again squaring that circle.
Yeah. But I think they force you to get the operation done.
They really seem to push you in that direction.
Yeah, and then it's okay because you're
a woman, and we could put you in a lower category. Now, hey, shout out to the Muslims, the Christians, the Jews that are liberalizing the religion, that are reforming it, because they do need.
You could say normalizing in Christianity.
Normalizing it. Shout out to Zoe.
Where's Zoe? Where's Zoe?
Yeah, normalizing Christianity, but
not just normalizing it, but also making it more normal, like not so extreme in more ways than one, not just spreading it out.
And that's why I'm thankful for Zoe, because the more that happens, the more Christianity will start to diminish and go away.
That's true.
The
Because
way it seems.
it just chips away at it. But I'll say this and shut up because I know Amy wants to go on to the next
No,
subject.
you're fine.
Doesn't Dak right now remind you of a TBN televangelist? Like the purple hair, the purple shirt, like
Purple
the
Pat
yellow,
Robertson.
like purple, like it reminds me of something on TBN. And I'm waiting for the one guy, the old guy with his wife with the big purple hair to come on. Be like, oh, Dak, praise the Lord, you're telling
And
the truth right
the
now.
number to scroll on the bottom.
Yes.
Call 1-800 Jesus loves you for a prayer request, or if you want to buy any of our amazing things.
Buy my DVD.
Yeah, buy this, buy that.
Look,
Go on
is he switching over?
drdino.com.
It almost looked like he was switching over. I guess not. Well, he's gonna get a chance to give his his closing soon. So we're gonna go in reverse order, unless anybody had an interesting topic they thought for the panel. But if not, we should probably start to do closers.
I think so.
Okay, so we'll go in reverse order. Actually,
Brian?
Donald, this is your warning because I'm going to hand it over to Brainbug first. So, Donald, if you're going to get a chance, you could dual stream in a second. But Brainbug,
does he hear us?
He may. I'm at 50-50. Midnight Ranting. It's
Okay,
late
I think he
at night.
does.
What is that about dual streaming? How does that work?
What about dual streaming? Are you here with us now, Donald? Do you want to go first since you're here?
I'm still on my show, and I just heard you say something about dual streaming, and I'm talking to
I don't know
Answers
how.
in Atheism and Dog over on my
He's
channel.
listening to multiple things at a time.
So I just wondered what it was you were talking about.
Here's your chance, Donald, because I don't know how that works, but Divine Hiddenness, Midnight Ranting. What are your thoughts on God being
This
missing?
is the other.
Praise Jesus.
Yeah. What are my thoughts on God being missing? I think Oz had it right that God isn't missing. God is just not real. Because it depends on what you mean by God. If you go to when people said that Olympic winners were gods. Okay, yeah, there have been people that won the Olympics. That those are real things, and do they count as gods in the sense that most people these days, what they mean when they say God? I think probably not. I think most people, when they talk about a god, they're talking about something a little more impressive than having thrown a shot put or a javelin farther than anybody else in a contest with a small number of people in it. That granted, are exceptionally good at those particular things, but yeah, I think, well, I think if there's a God out there that really wants people to believe it exists and really, wants people to believe it is all that terribly impressive, if it's all knowing and all powerful, it should have no problem doing that, and we should already know that it exists. So obviously that kind of a God isn't real. One that, really wants everyone to know it exists and knows how and easily can, But if they want a little help, they can come on my channel and speak for themselves. I'm sure you wouldn't mind if they came on your channel and spoke for themselves. They actually, get their message out there instead of letting, humans who don't do a very good job of representing them preach on their behalf. It could just,
You could come on both channels, but I'd rather have him come on your channel.
Okay, well, that sounds good. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Donald.
Donald.
I don't think you're going to have him show up to your show.
You never know.
We'll be waiting. You never know. This could be the night that he showed. This could be the episode. Thank you.
Well, when you close up your channel, post the link to my show if you want, and anybody that wants to head over there, I'll probably still be there.
Give me a second. I'll get it up on the stream. And with that in mind, we are finishing up Midnight Ranting, Divine Hiddenness. Brainbug, what's on your mind?
Divine Hiddenness right this moment. Where the hell is God?
Yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out.
I was hoping I'd come here and you guys would be like, oh, he's over there. And I'd be, oh, well, there he is. And it'd be done. So, yeah. Other than that, yeah, I'm just when
Well,
I hear
thanks for
people talking
coming
about
on.
animals and stuff,
Yeah.
I want to come on and talk about
Yeah.
it too.
Honestly, if we could even set up an episode,
We could
I
do
am
a thing
right with
about-
you. So my favorite branch of animals is carnivore, but it's easy to do it because they're squishy. Bugs and insects, because I know there's the difference. I forget which is the hierarchy over one, but I'm interested in that and arthropods, and you could come on. And in fact, I just want to show you something. This is how silly I am, but I can't help it.
Is this a prop?
It is a prop, but I have this because I feel so bad. So what I do, this is a fantastic contraption, is that you put it against the wall and it has a thing, and then you slowly push it up and it catches the buggy, and then it has a magnifying glass. And so you
look
can
at it.
look at it and before you put them outside.
That's pretty
I
cool.
just have to show that off. And
I'm
so,
gonna actually get one of those. That's
Amy's got all kinds of props for our Bible studies.
I am slowly
have you
becoming Carrot Top.
been by them, Brainbug? You a fan of our Bible studies?
I've just started watching it the last few days, or last few shows you all did. So I'm a new and I came over here just Answers in Atheism. I've seen Amy on MDD too, but
Yeah, our debate with Smokey and Maddox. Check that one out. That was a good one.
Yeah. About Smokey and Maddox.
Yeah,
Smokey and Mad Ducks. We took them down. So
yeah,
it was a lot of fun. That's how we started our stream here. So from Modern Day
and they're
Debate.
welcome to come on, Smokey and Maddox. If I know one of you still exists at least, so but both of you are invited. Come on down.
They're at least as real as God. The other one.
Yes.
I remember you talking to Godless Girl too. That was quite.
Yes,
was
I
very
had a debate
special.
with Godless, which was interesting because she is an atheist. So
Yeah.
Yeah, is right. Yeah.
Right.
Kind of a
I think she's become more of a background person, as in a producer. She seems like she wants to orchestrate debates more than do debates now, which is fine.
I think that's good.
Think they're
on her
good.
part.
Think they're good.
Praise Jeebus.
And okay, so thank you so much, Donald and Brainbug. Oz from, and I'm going to keep on saying it's like a built-in advertisement, from the Atheist Round Table. How are you doing tonight? And gods are hiding. What do you think about Divine Hiddenness?
Oh, well, I'm chilling. As always, thanks for letting me get on here and chat with you guys from the Atheist Round Table. But no, we're doing good. And as far as Divine Hiddenness, like I said before, I don't think it's a hiding thing. Like in order to hide, you have to exist. You have to be something. So it's impossible to hide if you don't exist. So until we have a good reason to believe that this God, this thing, this whatever exists, the divine hiddenness to me is out the window. So yeah, the last thing I'll say is Gavin Herlemon, holla at your boy.
Woohoo! Well,
The challenge
okay.
has gone out.
So don't forget to go look at that. Also, don't forget all three, Tart.live, Donald and Eminent Reflection, and Brainbug, who does a mixture of topics. He does both counter-apologetics and bugs, anthropons, a whole bunch. So go check out, and Tart does debates. So go check out all that awesomeness.
And Modern Day Debate. Too.
Oh,
and Modern Day Debate.
Amy, if I could say one thing real quick, because
Absolutely.
I completely forgot. March 20th, we have, and I've asked everybody, it's the first ever from what I've learned. We have a one-day debate tournament. We have 16 debaters. There will be a winner at the end of the day, and there's a cash prize, and there is a custom championship belt that will be mailed to that person. It's a traveling belt, so each time we have this, that belt will go to the new winner, if there is a new winner. But that's on the March 20th. I'm super fucking excited. And what I'm in need of right now is judges and mods. So if you're interested, email me, austin@tart.live. I'd love to have your help on that because we need the judges and the mods to make the shit work. So if you want to do that, email me. Again, austin@tart.live. It's a one-day event, and it's actually only like 5 hours long because the first 2 rounds are abbreviated. So holla at your boy.
To Gavin.
Woo-hoo.
Gavin also.
Well, go check that out for more debate fun. And if you'd like to be a mod, I go 50-50 whether I'd be a good debate mod. I feel like I'm a very good chat mod because I can I help people and send information and I don't ban anyone. But
Could
man,
be a good judge.
My facial expressions, maybe a good judge. Though I'm easily swayed. I'm emotionally swayed. Like the sword could be in me and they'd be like, oh my God, I slipped. I'm so sorry. And I'd be like, oh my God, you slipped. Oh.
If Erica can be a mod over on MDD with her facial expressions, I think
that's true.
Erica is pretty awesome.
That's true.
And you know what? Before I was about to say, James, Speed.
Whoa.
How are you?
Hey.
Welcome, Speed of Sound, Answers in Atheism.
Still awake.
I need to come to your stream, first of all, Kinky, but I need to come to your streams more often. I just need to go to bed at a normal hour, and then I will. That'll happen.
I need to get in there once in a while.
I think I didn't send you an invite today. I think I did yesterday and the day before, though. But I've been trying to put you on that list.
I see them, and I will. It's like throwing a net out. Eventually, I'm gonna be back there. You're gonna.
He does that to me too. I work during the time that he mostly does his streams.
Yep.
Come in.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can catch him before work, but
if I was a normal human being and woke up at a decent time, which will happen eventually, or I will. Though 3 isn't that. I should wake up at noon and just get my coffee and come on there. And
come on Saturday night. That's usually when I'm able to get in there. Come on Saturday night at the Atheist. They have a good time.
Snada.
Hey, that sounds fun. Yeah, Saturdays aren't a bad spot.
Yeah.
And so
we've been doing Saturday night broadcasts, but we could do something before that.
Yeah, well, we can do after or earlier, or you know, if you stay up late enough, it becomes earlier again, or probably just later.
Sometimes Saturday night at the Atheist turns into Sunday night at the Atheist, doesn't it, Speed?
Yes, it does. Unfortunately, it does.
I mean, some people stay up for like multiple days on end on here, so yeah.
Yeah.
Like
praise.
It is interesting. Some of the 7-9 hour streams, they're like marathons.
Yes. I hate them because if something interesting is said, YouTube will not do a transcript if your stream goes over like 2.5 hours. Yeah, and I hate that. So then I have to break it up and get it because I like transcripts. I do transcripts for a lot of the creationist shows. If you ever need, I've got a little tool that converts the transcript into readable text. So pretty cool.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah,
like closed captioning or
no. I just if you copy the transcript out of YouTube, every 10 seconds you get a line, and it ends up being about 90,000 lines long. If you put it in a Word document, well, I've got a little Ruby script that combines them into paragraphs, sort of. So, which is kind of cool with timestamps.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. If you ever need that done, reach out to me.
Because if you got Otangelo or somebody on, that could be a lot of lines. That could go crazy.
Yeah, and YouTube doesn't do very good at translating Otangelo.
That
no, not at all.
Parse some of the language that he's using, though, because I think
I don't do good translating Otangelo.
I don't either.
Some of the language that he uses is not. It's like this hybrid of philosophical terminology and scientific terminology.
And
we do love Otangelo. Bios. We do love Otangelo. He does come on once in a while. He graces us with his presence, but yeah.
By Oz, I had fun with Oz last night. Did you all see that? I got my bugs out.
I saw the later half, but it was fun.
You got the bugs out?
Watch and see the beginning.
I did. I got scorpion, mantis, millipedes, and a tarantula. So it was fun.
I'll put the guy. This is the guy who's on the payroll right here. This is he's the brains behind the operation, right?
I can understand.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have a cat that's just about the inverse coloring of that one.
Look at the screen, Mo. Look at the
Black
thing.
with a little bit of white.
Yeah. Yep.
Well,
Well, I have 2 tuxedos, so.
I had a tuxedo. Well, it's my sister's cat, but that's a long story. But yeah, she had a tuxedo too. She's not with us anymore.
Yeah. I had to eat one of my cats because I told John Maddox if he actually paid Dr. Dan the $500 that I would eat one of my cats. And so I had to eat Thor.
Well, they love their
It was for a
betting
good
over
cause.
there, right?
Yeah.
John Maddox paid $500 to Dan.
Yes, he actually paid up. I like to think I had something to do with that because I started guilting him really early because he was waffling and changing the rules a little bit. It kind of sounded like he wanted Dr. Dan to admit that because DNA is a code, then God did it. But then I just started hammering Maddox like a week before, and he actually paid him the money, which I thought was wonderful.
Cannot believe that.
Oh, and I was rolling on the floor, knowing that Maddox is out $500 because he had
That had to break him.
I know, because
he never thought he would. He thought that was the safest bet in the world. That was like easy bet.
John's bet he's paying out.
He paid out. He actually Venmo'd Dr. Dan on the show $500.
$500.
Yep.
I mean,
That's integrity,
Good on
John.
him.
I'm impressed for the integrity, John. So
I thought
Because
that was
I
like
thought-
Ken Hoven's challenge.
I thought that was a troll attempt. So
right before he started a fundraiser, so he could take 2 days off to debate Matt Dillahunty, he offered to fly me out to Nashville and put me up in a hotel so that he and I could go in front of some university professors and present our case and on information and biology. And he was sure that the university professors, and it was kind of like, it was like a scene out of a movie that he was imagining, right? Like we'd go in front of these professors and we'd get our thesis out and we'd read it to them. We got a high school dropout from Minnesota and a Uber driver from Nashville. Like professors are going to listen to us present our thesis.
Is John Maddox an Uber driver? Is that
he presented something like that to
that's what
Godless Engineer too. Like, let's go to your professors and see what they say about it. It's like, dude,
he's going to put me up in a hotel, and I was trying to imagine what kind of hotel he would put me up in.
John from Tennessee?
One day, when we can afford it, I want to do kind of an opposite Gideon program where we take versions of God is Not Great and we put stickers on it that say, this is a free copy. Feel free to take this copy and read it. And
Or God Delusion or one of the other fun, lovable books.
One of them.
Are you published, Speed?
Published? Me? No.
Yeah.
No. I may actually. I'm kind of working on I may end up getting my name on a scientific paper at some point because I'm working with Demeter and I'm hoping to do some modeling software for his abiogenesis theory. And we're proceeding, but I'm proceeding rather slowly because I'm busy as hell. Some modeling software for his abiogenesis theory. Oh, we had a little echo, but I actually am a high school dropout.
No, I think Oz was saying something similar, that he's an entrepreneur, but he comes from a humble background, but then he clawed his way to being an entrepreneur. I think. Yeah. I think you can come from many different that's been the theme, but many different backgrounds, and it takes many different strokes, even people in purple shirts, to go out there.
Purple hair, even. So you're self-taught, Speed. You're self-taught?
Yes. Yeah, entirely. I did manage to go to college for electrical engineering for a while, but then I got drunk and got broke and stumbled out of that, and then stumbled into electronics and circuit design school and kind of a trade school, and I got into software after that. But all of my life, I've educated myself in chemistry. So, chemistry and molecular biology all of my life. So,
that's freaking awesome. So you're STEM based.
What's that?
You're STEM based.
Yeah.
Science, technology, education, math.
Yep.
Woohoo.
And I got real serious starting about 14 years ago, and I've been my goal is in my old age to take up where I left off. When I was 9 years old, I kind of went off the path. I fell
It
off
happens.
the path.
At 9
Well,
years old, it happens.
I basically got drunk and fell off the path.
I was a little bit older. I was like 16, but it was a girl, and then I didn't get back on the path until about 27. Yeah. So
it happens. It happens.
Yeah. What? Every time I got drunk, it was a girl.
Right.
Well, that was some good times, though.
And so we're actually about to come up on the second hour, but I wanted to give you, what are your thoughts, Speed? Why does this god seem to be the hide and seek world champion? What's with his divine hiddenness?
Because he doesn't exist. that's the first thing. That's the first problem. And if you if you've got I have this incredible genie, and I've got him in a box in my house, and I can prove it to you. If you come over to my house, I could prove it to you, but if you come over, he's a very shy genie, and he never does anything when I have company. So that's basically
funny,
divine
right?
hiddenness. Now, did you guys try to steel man divine hiddenness? The sort of.
I did give a standard apologetic for it that they would give, that God takes the minimal approach, and that he he did things in the Bible because he had to preserve the line so that Jesus could come, and he had to take certain actions and do certain things. But as soon as that was done and the devil was defeated, the game was over. Now he steps back, and he doesn't have to. He takes he intervenes as absolutely minimal as possible, to the point where you could not scientifically detect him in any way. He's like an alternate dimension, like watching us like we are ants in an ant farm.
Right. I do that on Saturday Night at the Atheist sometimes. I start the stream and get it going and stir everybody up, and then I mute myself, and then I go watch Netflix. So I'm pretty
you just
sure
want to
that
stir the pot a little bit, right?
Or
get her going and let the peeps handle it.
Netflix and troll.
Yeah.
Netflix and troll. Yeah. Why not?
So that's
fun Saturday night.
So that's divine hiddenness.
Yeah, it's got to really bother Christians, I think, this divine hiddenness. I mean, I really wish he would come out and do something.
Something, right?
Just once. Yeah.
And that's why, like, if you actually look at them, they are desperate to find, they are desperate to apply God to the real world. They are desperate to find evidence so that they can convince themselves he exists. So a lot of times when you hear them provide evidence, or what they think is evidence, actually they're trying to convince themselves that they really believe in him. Like John Maddox, I think he is really trying to convince himself that God believes. I don't think he's convincing anybody else.
They all are. The whole thing, they've commandeered science, and they're just so desperate to make the science fit. And I believe it's because they completely lack faith. I mean, so they have to prove it to themselves with science. And
like Sal and people like Maddox.
Well, I think there are true believers, but the ones that when they say things like, no, you all have to believe it, it can't be, I do feel like that is a little bit of a form of projection. It could be that I'm wrong, but it does seem like they are saying you have to be a theist, or else that means that maybe I'm not a theist.
Right.
Yeah, and I know you've had some run-ins with him. I didn't mean to throw him out there, Sal.
Who? Amy? I love your debates.
Or just Sal in general.
Oh, me and
Sal
have had.
Where are you guys at the moment, anyway, on that? Last I heard, it was kind of tense.
Me and Sal?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, horribly tense. Yes. He said that I annoy him, and he started. We had some good conversations, and we were good friends, and then he started pulling away. And then he started saying kind of nasty things about atheists on streams. I'd pop in at night and listen to him, and I started, mentioning some of that, and then I kind of doubled down on criticizing some of the things he did, and now he blocked me on his channel. I can't comment. He won't have anything to do with me. Emery Moyna, John Peterson, made a little joke the other night.
Yeah, I heard that.
And nobody would have noticed it if Emery had not made a big deal out of it, because it was just one of those John Peterson things to do, and I yelled at him about it because I don't like that kind of crap. But
John trolling.
Well, I don't think he was really implying anything all that heavy.
Yeah, I think if there was any implication on John's part, it was an afterthought. It's like, oh, I said that, and it sounds like I meant this. Oops.
Yeah. Because
I don't think it was intentional. Yeah. John's an asshole when he wants to be, but he's not going to make that kind of claim about someone without backing it up with something. John will just likes to poke people, but he's not going to. That you ruin someone's life saying shit like that. So
we'd never say anything. We'd never say anything about anybody. Even this what was this Stinky Snake guy when he got in trouble. I wouldn't let anybody comment on that on my channel. And I
still refuse to comment on that. I don't know enough about what's going on. And John and Knocker, we're going pretty hard and heavy on it for a while. And I'm like,
well, there's no evidence, and you don't want to screw a guy, even though Stinky did it to me. I mean, he actually did it, and I sent an email to him, and I said, I hope you get through this okay, and I'm sorry this happened to you, even though I know you did this to me. We're not going to do it to you. And he sent me an email back, and he said it's pretty sad when the atheists take the high ground.
We don't comment directly on that because we just don't know.
And he thanked me. So he thanked me. Smokey thanked me for my little shot, and it was heartfelt because I know how it feels when people go after you personally, because he went after me personally.
I do. I remember him with the cuties thing. They lost their minds about that. And yeah.
I had
him and Nicholas Whitmire, that guy with the beard from our debate.
Yeah. I had just a horrible night, because that was the first time on YouTube that anybody went after me at a personal level like that. And as it turned out, it had zero impact. Nobody took it seriously.
No, of course not. But the thing is, before that, you and Smokey were kind of on good terms with that. And that he just came out of nowhere and attacked you like that.
Yeah, and it was...
and Leophilius, too.
I try not to start too much drama. I like roasting people. I like basically I try not to scratch the skin. So I feel very neutral about Smokey. The atheists, I think, just sit back and mostly eat popcorn. We're not sure what to think of anything because I don't think it's us downvoting him and doing all this stuff. I swear it's the other Christians.
I just ignore him.
Oh, I think so.
Well, he got bigger and bigger and bigger in that community until he kind of collapsed onto himself because he got kind of big-headed and thought he was going to tell everybody else what they could do on their own damn channels. Well, but it's like,
you shouldn't do hate streams. I mean, that would be my advice to him would be stop focusing on people and start focusing on the subject. You will never see me run here is why Smokey stream is terrible stream. That will never happen.
Especially like a stream of streams, like 3 streams in a row.
Or 3 streams. Exactly. I'm here. We're here to talk about a topic and the atheist or theist or ideas. Come as you are. That's what she said. And say what's on your mind, and we'll let you talk.
We'll roast a little bit, but not to the point where we're trolly, but not. You know what I mean.
Well, I roast their ideas, and there are some things that irritate me when they come after the Constitution and try to make it a Christian nation, or they try to get creationism in the schools. I can get pretty harsh, but for the most part, they know that I'm kidding. When I called Standing for Truth a Bible thumping dingleberry the other day, and he sent me an email, and he was actually laughing about it because behind the scenes we can talk like friends. We're good friends. So.
He's a good guy. I've never had any. He's always been cordial to me. So
he has always been cordial to me.
Totally off balance. Totally crazy what he believes, but Not a bad
Right.
person.
The ideas, exactly. But you could share a beer with them if they drink beer.
I could if he drank a beer. He could have a
And you drank a beer.
O'Doul's or a Buckler.
And okay, so unless anyone has
No.
anything else on their mind, and don't feel to say so, get it on your chest now. But if not, James, wrap us up so I can take us home. What are your feelings? Midnight Ranting,
Take us home.
Divine Hiddenness. This deity seems to be playing games with
Yeah.
us, or non-existent. Well, what are your thoughts?
So divine hiddenness, it's an excuse, it's a rationalization for that Christians use to explain reality, which is they look around, they don't see God, they don't see any evidence of him interacting with the world. Their book tells them at some point he did, but we don't see it today. But we know at the same time he's real, so there's got to be a reason for that. So they work back and they try to find a rationalization for, well, why might God not want to interact? Why would he pretend like he's not here? And, if you want to convince yourself of anything, you can convince yourself of just about anything, but it's not very convincing to those who aren't desperate to believe, who are just looking at facts and just trying to come up with models of reality that make sense, that are consistent with reality and with common sense. And I don't think that it's not convincing to me anyway. So much more probable he's not real. Praise Jeebus. Ramen. Thank you.
Ramen.
Take us home, Amy.
Man.
Woohoo! And okay, so I want to thank James W., Oz from Tart, Donald, Brainbug, Speed of Sound / Answers in Atheism, Aunt Jer, Robert, Titan Uranus, Bible Burner, Dave Guard Dog, Iron Charioteer, Scapegoats Back, Blaster Master, Simos Funk, and Mark Reed. I hope you all had a great time on this
did
episode.
we have Otangelo in chat?
We might on this episode of Midnight
Okay.
Ranting, Divine
saw him.
Hiddenness, where we tried to play hide and seek with a deity, but found nada. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that all button icon so you can be part of our live streams. And if you'd like to help out more with the atheist or comedy content, feel free to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Amy Newman. I'm Amy Newman, and I'll see you all on the next episode of Skeptic Ball Z.
Fair adventure.